Hi everybody, I am back again. Are you excited? I am excited. So, if you do not know already, I have not been on Wattpad much. Not because I don't love you guys. I love you guys. Thank you for always reading and leaving comments and everything. I love you. By the way, this is the EHL version of I love you in sign language. I love you. Yeah, I love you. Anyway, the topic for today's video is a very fun and very wholesome, very sweet, just light-hearted and heartwarming chapter in which Rinjani, Franco, and a few of their international friends from a group called the International Gang, the Unity in Diversity Gang, they are planning to have an intercultural night. So Franco is American, right? And Rinjani is Indonesian. But Rinjani is the only Indonesian on campus, which means that sometimes she feels like isolated, being one of the very few Asian on campus because while the campus is very beautiful, it does kind of feel like not very diverse actually in terms of it like majorly Caucasian white Americans. So Rinjani has to find her own pocket of international students to surround her so that she doesn't feel lonely. That's where the international club um help Rinjani feel less depressed because she finally opens up about her struggles to her friend and her friend accept her no matter what. And even now, I who is the real person behind Rinjani is actually Rinjani is based on me. Even now, I'm still in contact with my international friend on Huboy. I didn't know how much I was privileged and blessed and so grateful to have them in my life because they really come through when I really needed motivation and support to write my personal statement and motivation letter and researching scholarship and researching university for graduate school. Okay, so you ask, hey Nefertiti, what kind of graduate school are you going to? Well, I am going to primarily looking for scholarship in a major called Masters in Library Science. So the Master in Library Science is a combination of informatics system and also technology. So it's kind of like management communication being matched into one, but instead of like it being business management, it's more actually not about computer science per se, but about integrating all of those into kind of interdisciplinary program in which I can be a librarian if I want to. There are actually special kind of librarian based on the subtype. The academic one that work in universities and community colleges help undergraduate students with their research project. So they oversee the legal archive, the political document, periodicals, and journals, and they work in writing center. Speaking of writing center, actually I heard about this from the student learning coordinator at the UNCA Writing Center. Thank you very much, Brennan Brasberg. If you want this, I love you so much, man. Okay? I love you so much. Thank you. I would not have, I would not have the courage to go to the flang about graduate application if it were not for you. Like, you remember how I used to be in sophomore year? I know that you always see me as this outwardly determined girl, a girl like ambitious, and a girl who work hard. So like a combination of Slytherin and Hufflepuff, more Hufflepuff than Slytherin because I work smart. I work hard, but I also work smart. So I know how to have fun. I'm not all about, I'm not Hermione Granger. I'm kind of like more like Luna Lovegood probably. Smart but also creative. So I'm Luna Lovegood, okay? I'm not Granger. I mean, no disrespect to Hermione Granger, but sometimes she can be kind of uptight. I wish you could loosen up a bit. You know that, Brennan, don't you? So anyway, thank you very much. I think I'm gonna be calling you a lot, emailing you at the writing center, making appointment as I polish the personal statement, and I might or might not have actual breakdown in the middle of this, Brennan. So if one day you see me crying about my personal statement, don't be alarmed. You've been warned. Fair warning. I love you, Brennan. Okay? Oh, and I will drop you a link to my Wattpad books when I am done with all this. Oh man, I'm juggling a lot, man. Like I'm job hunting and graduate school, and I'm writing a book in the process. So yeah, I mean I'm in a happier place. Like I have not been this excited in a while, Brennan. I finally feel like I'm myself. So thank you. You played a big role in me being happy. So again, I said it a lot, but I mean it. Ye tembieng, te amo, aku cinta kamu, okay? And aku cinta kamu is basically I love you in my native language. So now you know. And if you want to say that you love me too, you can say back, aku cinta kamu. Aku means I, cinta is love, and kamu is you. But if you don't want to be overly dramatic, because let's admit it, cinta is a very dramatic way of saying it. A more casual way between friends would be sayang. It also means love, but more like what do you call it? In a friendly, cordial, affectionate way, and not in like a romantic grand gesture where you are like aishiteruing someone in Japanese. Because I heard that Japanese don't really say aishiteru. If they really like someone, they say suki desu or um boku wa kimi desu, something like that. I think even the Chinese don't actually say wo aini. Oh, by the way, Jade Foliage, if you are watching this, Jade, is it true that wo aini is also kind of dramatic? I do not know the Cantonese version. I only know the Mandarin version. So if you know the Cantonese version of it, let me know in the comment. Okay, I'm watching you, Jade. Anyway, Jade, meow. Yes, meow. Because that kind of like our trademark, right? I like cat, so meow. Oh, Christina Silva, if you bought this, please tell Reyes and Uju and Mir, I love them. Ego for Amore, the Leo family is just so nice. Oh, by the way, for everybody who do not know who Christina Silva is, you should. A shame if you do not know who she is. Shamelessly promoting her here because I love her so much. She's the writer of The Chronicles of Soraya Tenayu. Their book 1 already completed. And book 2 in the process. And you know what's great about Christina? Christina is actually a violinist. That's right. Just like Chris. Chris is also a violinist. Well, not really. It's kind of like violin. So it's viola and violin smushed into one. That's very creative, man. I love it. And anyway, I think Riz is classically trained. I'm not sure about what kind of music would be the genre of Christina's band, the Project Constellation. Check it out. Project Constellation. Constellation like the star. CONTELLATION. Project Constellation. I think Project Constellation is more like not really pop, but more like it's a little bit of everything. There's something for everyone. Christina got a lot of geek lately. I'm so proud of you, Christina. I like your song. And please tell your husband that I also like seeing him singing. I'm sorry about the pronouns slip up. Because in Indonesian, you see, we always refer to everyone in gender neutral way, which is dia, dia, dia. Dia can be he, him, they. So yeah, for the record, I do respect personal pronoun. Unlike those Kasmeran who are like, you remember the scene where okay, spoiler, I'm not gonna go that. Sorry, censored. Guys, if you really want to know what I'm talking about book 2, just read it yourself, man. I promise it's worth it. So anyway, back to my book about Rinjani. The one, the title is again from the mountains to the cornfield. Actually, I got that mixed up. Okay, it from the cornfield to the mountains. Okay, again, the title is, I repeat, from the cornfield to the mountains. So, I said in the beginning of the video that Rinjani is going to have cultural night, right? So, about the cultural night, Rinjani is a pianist. Well, not really a pianist. Don't expect fancy Mozart or Beethoven or Johannes Bach. No. She's kinda like, she taught herself how to play piano. She's like, I don't care about the music being like precise. I only care about having fun because that's Rinjani. Just like the volcano, she's like, I'm gonna stand here. I'm gonna stand up for myself. I don't care if you like me or not. So this is Rinjani's keyboard. See, I do not know if you can read this because I think the video is kinda mirrored on your side. But this here, it says hope is defiant, and that's important to Rinjani because she kinda has a depressive and anxiety trait. Not her fault though. She has difficult life in Jakarta, but Franco helped her become happier. And Franco um, introduces her to an organization called To Write Love on Her Arm. You probably know about that. Their Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. There's a whole movement about it. And they also is affiliated with the Crisis Tagline. If you are in US and Canada, the Crisis Tagline is 741 741. I will repeat that again so that you can write it down. 741 741. I like using that a lot because it is very accessible. As in, if you don't wanna talk because maybe you are having a nervous breakdown, you are crying, and I did not know about you, but when I'm like not having nervous breakdown and crying, I cannot really talk because my voice just won't come out, man. I would just shut down. So being able to text is better than calling. No disrespect to the calling phone hotline, but sometimes it's just difficult to make yourself, calm and composed when you cannot get yourself across and articulate when you are all crying and emotional. Yeah, texting is good for me. But hey, you do you. Texting good, phone call good, whatever you like, I'm not gonna shame you. It's your choice. You know your body better than me. Yeah? So this is a safe page, man. No hate here, okay? All hate comment will be deleted immediately. So please don't troll my books. If you have problem with me, don't take it out on my conversation on Wattpad, okay? Just DM me. Or better yet, I have a Discord. So ask for my Discord name, okay? In the comment, and I will give you my Discord name. So if you want to privately Discord me on DM about your concern about my book, legitimate concern, not concern about, hey, there is LGBTQ couple. I don't like LGBT couple. No, that's homophobic, that's transphobic. I will not stand for that. But if your concern is legitimate, like, hey, Knife, I don't think Rinjani is very developed, or hey, Knife, I think you make Franco's love story with Rinjani kind of rush, then I understand. Let's talk about that. I'm open to critique like that because it's constructive feedback and input, right? Okay, good. So this year Hope is Defiant. It a sticker I got for free because sometime in September when I was 25, turned on 26, my mother passed away from COVID. and I miss her every day. And you know what even worse? I look exactly like my mom did when he was younger. So every time my father looked at me, at first he would break down, man. It was sad to see. He would say, I cannot help but see your mother in you. And I'm like, oh my god, dad. And ironically enough, actually mom being away in heaven, mom, I love you, prayer for you. Um, Mom being away makes me even closer to my father and my sister. I have two sisters. They are in Jakarta, the capital city of Indonesia. They are 22 and 21. So that's right, I'm 26. My self, I'm like in the middle of my 20s, maybe nearing the end. You know, I'm closer to 30 than I'm 20. I'm gonna have. I'm actually past the midlife crisis. Let's face it. Midlife crisis is 25, right? I'm 26, so yeah, I'm way past that. So my sister are 4 years and 5 years younger than I am respectively, and I love them to pieces. You know. And yet for it, if you watch this again, you are kind of like my unofficial third sister, okay? I think my actual sister and you would get along. I wish I could hop over to Canada, man. I love you. Um, anyway, yeah, about my sister. And so after my mom passed away, I was like in a dark place mentally. I stopped writing for a while just to compose myself. And this came in the mail because I donated to the organization. And I also have another sticker. I will show you. Uh, don't mind me, man. I'm just reaching for my phone. Sorry if you see something embarrassing. Um, my phone case. It arose and it says you matter very much. And anyway, do you know what my favorite color is? It's obvious. It's white and red. I even have red glasses. Can you see? Yeah, it's red glasses. Hey, look, everything around me is red and white. Red glasses, red phone case, and well, this is orange, not red, but close enough. And hey, my blanket is white. See? So if you put it like this, it becomes Indonesian flag. It's red and white. See? Oh, anyway, this is cool. I got this from my partner, who is the inspiration for Franco, of course. So this is a Samsung Galaxy. You can flip it like that. It's like flip phone, but smartphone. So it's like this, and you can you can even bend it. Like, see, you can bend it. So I like it. It's the best birthday gift ever. Hey, I'm not gonna like luxurious or anything. I'm not treat like that. But sometimes Franco save up to buy me very good stuff. He came from small town, so if he splurged on something, it meant it was really big occasion like birthday. It's not that he's a rich boy who spoiled me every day, but it's okay. The most important thing is not about the gift, but how much he cared about me, and he showed it through this gift. I'm like, oh my god, Franco, you are not supposed to give me something so expensive. Save that for retirement or something. And Franco is like, nah, I got my own retirement account. This is from different saving account. Don't worry. I'm not going broke over this, Rinjani. I love you, so just take it, okay? Don't complain. Don't ruin your own day for you, okay? Just focus on being happy with me. We can eat at your favorite restaurant and just chill, have sushi, whatever. Have some carrot cake. That's right. I don't like chocolate cake for my birthday. I like carrot cake. Oh, and last time I went kind of the traditional Indonesian way. I made rice, and the rice was the mountain shaped rice. It's called tumpang. So it's kind of like yellow rice. And I'm not sure if I still have the photo. Bear with me as I look the photo up. It a photo of me and my partner. Well, Franco, not his real name, but close enough. I cannot disclose his name because privacy reason, okay? But my name is really Nefertiti, okay? It's real name. It's not Indonesian, but it's Egypt. Why? Because my dad was obsessed with this Queen Nefertiti from Egypt. Because Queen Nefertiti was very revolutionary for making monotheism in Egypt kind of like the norm at her time. The worship of the sun god Ra, I think is the name. It's kinda like similar to the Japanese kami-sama called Amaterasu Omikama. Oh, shameless Kenta plug. If you have ever read Kenta story, Dream Upon Silver Pine Branch, there's a lot of Shintoism going on. And maybe one day Kenta will talk about the Amaterasu Omikami. So about how and why I got into Japanese art and stuff and like manga. I don't speak Japanese, man, but I do like to watch anime and stuff. I do not know if you notice it, but Kenta also like anime. Oh, and I talk about Christina Silva's story Atenayu, right? If you are very, very detailed oriented and have good eyes and good imagination, I'm not going to spoil it, but you are going to see a lot of Horaya references in my own work, okay? So be on the lookout. I'm watching you. Okay, so yeah, I do not know where my uh I do not know where my photo goes. Did my sister still have it or did it got like deleted unintentionally? I hope not. I'd be very sad if it got deleted. The picture of me and Franco celebrating the traditional way. Maybe I will ask Franco for it. Maybe she has it in like what do you call it? The cloud, the thingy for digital files. Well, I didn't find it, but so that you don't disappoint it, I will show you something. This is blueberry, okay? And the blueberry is from my own garden. So I told you that Franco lives in small town, right? So because of that, Franco is into gardening and my mom in flow. Franco's mom, uh, she had a lot of blueberries like this, and we make jam out of fresh blueberry. It's yummy. It's just like blueberry being soaked in water and then dried, and then after it dries, you boil it in simple syrup. Simple syrup is just sugar and water. It's very simple. Try it yourself, man. It's healthier because you can choose the amount of sugar that you want. And also, I'm thinking of making Rinjani kind of like Nardo Sitohang from the Looking for Hope series, and also he stars in his own book, first person point of view, switch between his adult years as 50 years old and his teenage year when he was a depressed 19 years old. Well, he was also depressed as an adult, but different causes, like he was depressed in teenage year because of Liz death. Spoiler, but you already know Liz death, so not really technically spoiler. It's all in the open now. And also because he dealt with his lungs, so he has immunologically weak. It's immunologically but okay, I think I just messed it up. But he has weak immune system, okay? So that's why he was depressed because imagine you love a teacher so much and he died, man. I mean, he died not because of Nardo. He was already old when he died, but he donated his lung to Nardo, and Nardo was like, oh my goodness, what do I do with my life now that my mentor is dead? And Nardo, as an adult, he was depressed because, well, something bad happened to Moira. I'm not going to spoil it for those who are yet to finish Looking for Hope and is just beginning with the second book. But yeah, please don't hate me for hurting Moira, okay? I promise that Moira will be back to being healthy again, okay? So I promise you, Moira not gonna die or anything, okay? I love Nardo too much, and I love Moira too much to ever kill them. So nobody dies. They stay together. As I told you, I'm not into the happily ever after princess type of story. No offense to those who love princess stories. But it's not just my cup of tea. So my story is like, it is implied that yes, they will get to happily ever after, but it's more about the journey, the process, not the destination. Actually, that's kinda like Miley Cyrus, isn't it? From the Hannah Montana, The Climb. Yeah, you know that song, right? Um, I think it was back in 2007, 2008 when that song came out. I was in middle school and my best friend obnoxiously won't stop singing and I'm like, oh my goodness, yes, I love Miley, but could you stop singing it? I'm tired of it, I'm sick of it, I'm bored. Sing something else. Yeah, I still cannot find the um photo. We'll get back to it later. Oh, about teacher. There is actually a parallel between Nardo and Rinjani because they both have mental illnesses, right? They are having challenges, but also they have mental illnesses, but that doesn't stop them from being themselves. And they have mentor figures too. So this is an ukulele, just like Nardo's ukulele. I like it because it's small, unlike guitar. Guitar you cannot hold in one hand, you need two hands to hold guitar. And I like how I can just swee, swee, swee. And you can just, I do not know, it's so lightweight, it's so cute and adorable. Then the really cute man, adore, not adore. So anyway, about teacher, Rinjani does have her own advisor at UNC Edgefield, but she's also very close to another professor in another university called Warren Wilson College. Warren Wilson College is in a rural part of Edgefield. It's actually not even Edgefield, it's actually its own town called Fananoa, named after the Fananoa River that runs through western North Carolina. And Warren Wilson College has a professor of sociology. Her name is Siti Kuchidiarti. I actually wrote about her in my Indonesia and Global column. Yes, I'm a columnist, and I'm proud of it. And I just got promoted to probably becoming a content director or an editor. Yay! Oh, if you do not know, this is how you clap, clap, clap in ASL. Yay! Okay, so this professor shifts into music, and I think I'm going to have her show up and surprise Rinjani at some point. It actually doesn't happen in real life, but this is fiction, and anything can happen. And like teach her how to play ukulele. Okay, I'll get back to the photo later, man. It frustrated me. My phone is so unorganized. But hey, it's a phone. What do you expect? Anyway, I want to show you. Well, show is not really show, right? But it's with music. I'm gonna let you listen. Yeah, that's better. I'm gonna let you listen to some Indonesian song. And maybe I'll sing too. Because this is a song that Rinjani is going to teach her international friends about. So like, in what part we have read for read, right? Well, in Rinjani's universe, you have song for song. You teach me a song, I'll teach you a song. It's a trade-off. It's a cultural exchange. Intercultural night. Yay! So I remember I made fried rice for intercultural night and everyone liked it. And I tried bird for the first time. I think it was from not cabbage, but it is beet. Yeah, from beet, from the red beet, and it kind of stained your plate and bowl. It was a pain to wash everything, but it was yummy. I think it was kind of like Scandinavian or Russian, Slavic, something like that. It was from Europe. It was nice. And also ate homemade sauerkraut. Someone from German brought it for me, and I'm like, oh my goodness, you're so nice. And I also ate some Korean barbecue and bibimbap, and also this very spicy noodle called samyang. Everyone was so amazed when I could like eat the samyang spicy, 2 times spicy, not the regular one, but like the red hot one, without even needing water. I mean, I'm Indonesian. I'm used to spice. But they're like, oh my goodness, you're a hero for finishing that for all of us. Like, there are a lot of leftover because they have like different spice tolerance level. So they like, here, Rinjani, eat up all the spicy noodle. I'm off to toilet. You can have that all of your own. I'm like, okay. But now I'm your dumpster. You just put me the leftover. I'm a dumpster girl. Okay, man. Have some respect for me. I'm not some your dumpster fire thingy. Okay, so the first song that I'm gonna play is called Indonesia Pusaka. Indonesia Pusaka mean the heritage of Indonesia, the heirloom. Pusaka mean heritage or heirloom. It's a sentimental song. It's a national song written by Ismail Marzuki. Ismail Marzuki is like the Jimi Hendrix. Do I get it right? Jimi Hendrix, the one who wrote the Star Spangled Banner pop version. So yeah, Ismail Marzuki is like the Star Spangled Banner thingy of Indonesia. So I'm going to sing it first, okay? Because I have to warm up. It's been a while since I recite the song. Oh yeah. Indonesia tanah air beta pusaka abadi nan jaya. Indonesia sejak dulu kala tetap dipuja-puja bangsa. Di sana tempat lahir beta, dibuai dibesarkan bunda, tempat berlindung di hari tua, tempat akhir menutup mata. And it the first verse, the second verse is similar actually, just different wording. Sungguh indah tanah air beta, tiada bandingnya di dunia. Karya indah Tuhan Maha Kuasa bagi bangsa yang memujanya. Indonesia Ibu Pertiwi, kau ku puja, kau ku kasihi, tenagaku bahkan pun jiwaku kepadamu rela ku beri. So that's the first song I teach you today. Remember, it's called Indonesia Pusaka. Say it very slowly with me. I'm teaching you Indonesian, okay? Indonesia Pusaka. Pusaka. Now put it together. Indonesia Pusaka. Okay, I repeat it. Indonesia Pusaka. That's the way you pronounce it. Indonesia Pusaka. Now I'm gonna see if you can say it faster. Indonesia Pusaka. Try it again. Indonesia Pusaka. Okay, good. So now you know the name of the song. Oh, and did you cut that in the second stanza? There is a line that goes, Indonesia Ibu Pertiwi. I'll sing it again. Indonesia Ibu Pertiwi. Kau ku puja, kau ku kasihi. Tenagaku bahkan pun jiwaku kepadamu rela ku beri. So, Indonesia Pertiwi. Pertiwi is of course the Indonesianized version of the Sanskrit Pratiwi or Prithvi. Oh, 9 words. 9, if you are watching this. Is my Sanskrit terminology correct? I know you are South Indian and you probably speak Hindi, right? So I do not know how much you know about Sanskrit. But anyway, a lot of Sanskrit words, loan words, bleed into modern Indonesian. Why? Because a lot of Indonesia, ancient Indonesia, before the Islamization and the Buddhism in Indonesia, was primarily Hindu kingdoms. And I think a lot of Indians actually was in Indonesia during ancient time. Ancient as in even before the Dutch VOC, that is Indies come to colonize. I think there were like trading going on between Indonesia and India for spices. I think that's why the Dutch and the British want to colonize us, right? Because of spices. It's funny. Their food is so bland. No disrespect, Franco. Franco is you what this. I love you, okay? Don't be offended. I like your food, okay? I like burger and fries and pizza as much as you do. But you have to admit sometimes it's so bland for my taste. Okay? And I love you, so I always tone down the spices in my cooking for you because I know you have different spice tolerance level to me. But yeah, it was kind of a culture shock when I came to US. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's cardboard. Okay, cardboard is an exaggeration. I'm sorry, Franco. I love you, okay? But your food needs some embellishment. Put some pizzas on it, man. There's more spices in this life than just salt and pepper, Franco. Anyway, yeah, the spices trading thingy. So remember what I said about Indonesia Pertiwi? So Pertiwi or Goddess Prativi was the personification of motherland. So when I say Indonesia Ibu Pertiwi, Indonesia Ibu Pertiwi, I'm really singing that Indonesia is my motherland. Yeah, that's what it meant, motherland. And in case you have not noticed from the blurb, Pratiwi is also Rinjani's last name, Rinjani Pratiwi. That's how you pronounce the name of my protagonist, Rinjani Pratiwi. I'm gonna say it real slow, so when the book come out with the text to speech, sometimes text to speech messes up the pronunciation. I'm not sure if they gonna make it match up. I hope not. But in case it got match up, you hear it from me first. I'm the author, okay? So I know how to pronounce it, and I'm Indonesian, raised and born, so it's gonna be authentic because it's from my experience, man. Authenticity. So anyway, Rinjani. Say it again. Rinjani. Rinjani. And the last name is Prativi. 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 Okay, so her name is Rinjani Prativi. Yeah, Rinjani Prativi. It's a very symbolic name. I like it. I'm kinda proud of how I name my character. Everyone has meaning to their name. Because in my culture, there's a belief that a meaning is a prayer. So essentially, everyone's name is a prayer their parents bestow upon them. Isn't that kind of like touching, heartwarming. My name is Nefertiti Karismaida Venison. Venison is a last name I adopted for American immigration purpose. It doesn't really have name. It's just the son of Fanny. I don't even know who Fanny is. I just pick it for immigration purpose. Because Karismaida is not really a last name. It's more of a middle name. Not everyone in Indonesia have last names, okay? Some people who live in Java Island, that's where I come from, the Java Island. I'm a Javanese. I don't speak Javanese, unfortunately, but I'm learning. I want to be closer to my ancestral root, my ancestor and my tribe, my ethnicity, because Indonesian has become such a lingua franca and kind of like traditional and regional dialect kind of die out. Even now in Java, Javanese is not much used. My family, they speak Javanese, but only to my grandma and my grandpa, not between cousins. My cousin and I don't really know Javanese. It's a shame, really. My dad should have be more persistent. I mean, I don't blame him because what's the point of learning Japanese if it's not in daily conversation, right? So I understand his mindset, but I do wish that I know more about Japanese. Just like I think in Christina Silva Soraya Tenayu Chronicles, Mir actually was growing up Sadelkin, right? And Sadelkin has like 3 languages. Am I right, Christina? And 2 of them are dying out. And one that do survive. Rish and Uju don't pick them because they focus on learning Kashmiran, just like learning Indonesian but not Japanese. And it's based on Sami culture, right? From Norway. And the Sami community is also dying out. I see a lot of similarity between what happened in my hometown and what happened in Kashmir itself. So I really can relate to the Leo boys. I have a crush on Mir. I'm not ashamed of it. Even though Mir's wife Ayla might just like stare at me, chopping bird, meat, grind it, and looking at me like, don't you dare steal Mir away from me. I might not have clothes, but I can handle myself, okay? I don't have retractable clothes, but I have knife. So you stay away from Mir. And I'm like, okay, Ayla, I'm back out. Looking at Mir with kitty eyes like, meow. And kitty ears and kitty whisker. Well, Hadelkin doesn't really have whisker, right? I mean, I know that Mir has beard and yeah, he's very handsome, but that's not really whisker. So yeah, I know. Hey Mir, Mr. Leo, if you watch this, I don't mean to be offensive, but yeah, you are very handsome. Admit it. And I think Riff look kinda like you. I think I understand why Soraya like him. He's cute. Oh, and about Soraya, I know that you don't spend as much time with Soraya as you spend with Uju's girlfriend Jaruna. Um, yeah, I think Jaruna is nice, but you have to know that Soraya is also nice. Just because she has magic does not mean that she's gonna abuse it, man. Okay, so please give Soraya a chance. Don't be too hard on her. Okay. And anyway, I have a second song for you to learn also. It's called Tanah Airku. It's another version of my homeland. It goes like this. Tanah air ku tidak melupakan, kan ku kenang selama hidupku. Biarpun saya pergi jauh, tidak akan hilang dari kalbu. Tanahku tak ku lupakan, engkau ku tanah airku, tanah airku tidak kulupakan, means that I will never ever forget my homeland. Kan terkenang selama hidupku, means I will always remember it, never forget it for the rest of my life. Biarpun saya pergi jauh, tidak akan hilang dari kalbu. Just mean that no matter how far away I go, I will always return to my homeland, long for it, yearn for it, always in the back of my mind. And actually it resonates with me because I'm an international student, right? And I am now on conditional permanent resident visa because I married Franco. So I have my green card now. So I'm a permanent resident. But doesn't mean that I love Indonesia any less, no. Please don't make me ever choose between America and Indonesia, okay? I love them both. I really do. It's both part of who I am. I don't have any right to claim that I am American. But if I can, I want to be an American Indonesian. Unfortunately, Indonesian government has not legalized double citizenship. So if I do have the blue passport, the American passport, I have to give up my Indonesian citizenship. And now I don't want that. I want to be Indonesian. So I think it's a good compromise, the green card, because I can stay in the US, become a resident, but not losing my citizenship. So it's a happy medium. I'm happy with my green card. So, tanah air ku tidak kulupakan, kan terkenang selama hidupku, biarpun saja pergi jauh, tidak akan hilang dari kalbu. Let's repeat the last one, okay? Tidak akan hilang dari kalbu. Okay, kalbu. Kalbu means heart, okay? It's from Arabic kolbu or kolb. Kalbu, hati. So kolbu is kind of like dramatic way of saying it, a poetic way. The less formal would be hati, but they mean the same. Hati, kolbu. But because it's a poetic song, they use poetic device, kalbu. Kolb. So Indonesia will always be in my heart, will never vanish from my mind, will never disappear, always in my heart. Oke, tidak akan hilang dari kalbu. Tanahku tak kulupakan, engkau ku banggakan. Actually there are two versions, ku banggakan dan ku hargai. Engkau ku banggakan. I mean, I am proud of you, Indonesia. Indonesia is my pride. Whereas engkau ku hargai means I respect you, I appreciate you. So it's kind of like an appreciation for the motherland. It means the same. It's very sentimental song. After all, I like it. Whenever I miss my dad and my sister, I would sing the song in my mind, or sometimes I hum it like this. You could probably hum it too. I'll make it stay in your mind, stuck in your brain. I'm sorry if you got earworm and it stuck for the next couple minutes. Sorry. Not sorry though. I'm teaching you about my culture. I like sharing. That's why I'm international student. I love connecting with other people. That's why I'm a writer, so that I can share my culture and also learn about your culture. Jade, please teach me about Canadian culture, okay? And Nanwer, teach me more about India, okay? I love that I get to have such a diverse group of friends just from both paths. I love you, everyone. I turn to Soraya. Soraya is like, I love you in everyone, making everyone blush with ego for Amariam, but she's so cute. Yeah, Soraya, also. Etiam, I love you too. Anyway, oh, speaking of, there is a song that Riz and Soraya sing in book one, right? It's been stuck in my mind. The one about I am with you and you with me. Praise the God to eternity. Kyrio eleison or something like that. I want to sing it for Christina. Christina, this is for you. Shout out, okay? I'm gonna sing the rich childhood melody, okay? So, 1, 2, 3. Blessing flow from the God above. Mercy show their everlasting love. They see that there mercy on earth, and they cast our sin to the Sheol to forget about it just forevermore. I am with you and you're with me. Praise the Savior, praise our Savior. Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison. I'm not sure if I pronounced the last part Kyrie eleison the right way. So Christina, leave a comment. Do I say Kyrie eleison, pronounce it the right way? It's Latin, right? Kyrie eleison from a hymn, a psalm. How do I pronounce psalm? Is the P silent? Psalm. Oh, about me, Christina, Jade, and Nine knows, but maybe you are new reader, so you do not know. But before, it implied in Kenta's story. I'm like Kenta. I have hearing loss. So, I don't always wear my hearing aid, but sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. Why? Because it can be tiring and exhausting, all the sensory overload 24/7. So I do not know if it's sensory overload, but my dad and I, we are pursuing a diagnosis, proper diagnosis, because maybe we suspect I might be like Thai in backstage and kitchen. I might have sensory processing issues, disorder, SPD. Oh, anyway, another shout out to Judge Foliage. Everyone should read Kid Change and Backstage. Kid Change is about Ty's girlfriend, who is autistic. Her name is Nora Wellen. Miss Wellen has some unpleasant family backstory. It's all very emotional. Read about it yourself. Not spoiling for you. Okay? And Backstage is more from Tai Phuong. It's Vietnamese, right? So I do not know how to pronounce Phuong. I hope I get it right. So leave a message for me, Jade. So Tai Phuong in Backstage. Oh my goodness, I'm like Thai. Right? Jade, Thai aesthetic is all orange E because of his power. I'm not going to spoil for new reader what the power is, but he has supernatural power, magical realism kind of stuff. Hey, this is not a guitar, but close enough, right? The ukulele. So yeah, Tai is autistic, and he has a friend called Monty. Monty is deaf, just like me. I can relate so much to Monty, and I think Monty and Kenta Kinoya would get along. All the Kinoya would. Akira too, and Shiori and Chiharu, especially Chiharu. Chiharu would love to be serenaded by Tai, by the way. Kenta and Tai would get along. And Tai and Nardo. Nardo really needs someone to remind him that, hey, life is not all bleak. Let Max Song be happy. Tell the president who is boss. That you saying it. So shout out to Nine Bird for saying Nardo shows the president who is boss. Wreck the journal, Nardo. Wreck the journal. Let all the feelings out. I'm the boss. Oh, and to quote one of your character non-word, was it who said, I'm the king of the world, booyah. Okay, I'm the king of the world, booyah. So anyway, booyah to everyone. Oh, and back to the Kriye LA song. It really reminds me of a song I learned back in college in my choir group called Ubi Caritas. It's like Ubi Caritas el amor Deus ubi et congregavit nos in unum Christi amor, Christi amor, amen. Well, I'm not religious. I'm not Johan Sitohang. No, offense, Johan. I love you. I'm just secular, okay? Don't hate me. I mean, if you can love Nardo even after Nardo turned agnostic, please love me, Johan. I mean, not in the way you love Kenta, of course. More like friendly love. Because I love you too, Johan. You are a good brother. Please don't be too hard on yourself, okay? No matter what your dad taught you, you are lovely. And I'm sure Kenta tells you every day that you are lovely. Aku cinta kamu, Johan. Kamu cinta aku? Kamu cinta aku mean, do you love me? And the answer is, iya, aku cinta kamu. Yes, I love you too. Aku juga sayang kamu. Aku juga cinta kamu. Yes, I love you too. That's what Johan would probably say if he's here right now. Anyway, so the Ubi Caritas means wherever God is, it means there is love. And where is there love, there's God. Let us all congregate and worship Him and praise the Lord. See, it's very similar. Ubi Caritas and Kyrie eleison. Kyrie eleison means, if I get my Latin right, Lord have mercy on us. Living on a prayer kind of situation. Hey, it fits the darker theme of book 2. Kyrie eleison, everyone might Kyrios listen to our prayers. Kyrios, if you let the Leo boys or anyone for that matter die, I'm gonna turn 100% atheistic, okay? So please don't let Leo die, or I'm gonna wreak havoc and I'm gonna call the Titans on you guys. Titan versus God. So yeah, don't mess with me. So okay, I'm protective of the Leo family because they're like me. Mirleo is an immigrant, like technically a refugee. Well, I'm also an immigrant, so I relate to him. Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison. Amen. So I should go back to my Indonesian explanation, right? It kind of like becoming kind of like I'm fangirling over you guys' book, well, you guys fangirling over mine. Well, we fangirling over each other, it's normal. That's what being writer right is, being supportive, having a community, coming together to criticize each other's work and being constructive, having feedback, right? So did I mention in the middle of the video that there's gonna be a professor from Indonesia who is a sociology professor and Rinjani look up to her? Well, this doesn't happen in real life because I never got to meet her in person, but because it's my book, I can add fictionalize, even fictionalize. So it's gonna be like my headcanon. Can you headcanon your own work? You can? Okay, good. So my headcanon, which I will make canon very soon. I'm writing this offline, in between me juggling everything in my life. It's kinda like my sweet escape. So this professor will visit Rinjani in her fourth year, just about before she graduates. And then Rinjani is going to be, I'm very grateful for you, Professor Kulfujiarti. Can I call you Ibu instead of Professor? Ibu in Indonesia, just like I said in the beginning, means mother. So Ibu just means mother. So for Rinjani, Professor Kufujiarti is like her mother. And Professor Kufujiarti's first name is Siti. And in Indonesian language, it is okay to call someone by their first name as long as you don't mean any disrespect, okay? So Rinjani in her fourth year of college started calling Professor Kufujiarti not professor anymore, but Ibu Siti. That means that she really admires Ibu Siti, and Ibu Siti is like very motherly and caring. Maybe because they are just the only Indonesians in the entire Western North Carolina, and it's rare finding my own countrymen in North Carolina. So when I find one, I latch on to them. And I think that's why I joined Indonesia Men Global, because even though Indonesia Men Global has members all over the world, we are all Indonesian, and it grounds me, it keeps me homebound, it keeps me remember my culture, I have ties to my homeland, I'm not lonely anymore, kind of stuff. I have a family, a second family. Anyway, if you are all caught up with Dreams Upon a Silver Pine Branch, on chapter 14 there's an exploration on that theme where Aiden Fenson and his stepbrother Ezekiel Fenson, or EGH, is kind of like having a conversation about being stepbrother, and they're like, our stepbrother real brother? And Ezekiel is like, I call bullshit on the incomplete saying about blood being thicker than water, because the real saying is the complete saying that is often misquoted. That's a misquote, okay? The real quote is, the water in the womb is not as thick as the thick blood of the covenant. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. That take this with a grain of salt, okay? Because we do have people who share the womb and they are very close together. The twins in my story, Nadia and Nardo Sitohang, and then Johan Sitohang and Nardo, and the Sitohang siblings, Nardo, Nardia, Johan, they are very close together, right? So that's good. But let's not discount the bond between Ezekiel and Aiden Fenson. Okay? That's why Um, I then finally realized that it's okay if your brother is not bound by blood because water of the womb be dumb. Sometimes your own family can look down on you. I mean, you know what happened to Johan and his father, right? His father, Petrus Kitohang, sucks and fight all the time with Clara Kitohang, the mother, Clara. Clara and Petrus sometimes I don't really understand why they go together. Neither do Johan. Johan in his email to Kanta is like, why is my parents like this? Why are they like this? How did they even get together in the first place? It's mind-boggling. They're not compatible and they have children together and then the children suffer from all that bickering. Blah 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 blah. I hate you, Petrus. I hate you too. I wish we divorce or something. Throw. And then Johan is like, oh my god, this is dangerous. Hey twins. Nardo Nardia, come here. Tuck yourself in under the blanket and comforter with me. I'm just gonna like sing with you something and comfort you, okay? I know it sucks, but anyway, just stay with me. Our parents no good. That's why Johan kind of on the fence at first about going to uni because going to uni means leaving Nardo and Nardia behind with like not so good parents, toxic environment. No child should undergo what Nardo and Nardia went through in their childhood. My heart goes out to all the Sitoha. It's so heartbreaking. Cry. So anyway, I'm going to sing one last song, and then I'm gonna switch to piano to give you the piano version of all my ukulele and vocals. Okay? You excited? I'm excited. So about Professor Siti Kusudiarti or Ibu Siti. Siti going to listen to Rinjani or Rini. I have not settled on what to call her. So please leave a message or a comment thought. Do you prefer the nickname of Rinjani to be Rin or Rini? And do you want it spelled R-I-N-I or R-I-N-N-I-E or R-I-N-N-Y? It can go like three ways. Rini with a Y, Rini, Rin, or Rini that is just R-I-N-I. I do not know. Or maybe just Rin. Rin is good. Like me. My name is Nefertiti, right? But everybody called me either Enough or Nef. So it goes from Nefertiti, Enough, Nef. I have three names that I go by. Maybe Rinjani can be like Rina, Rinjani. Maybe I should call her Rina. How about that? Rina. Simple. Rinjani. It has quiet the ring, don't you think? Rina. Okay. It's official. Unless you override my vote. Okay. Rina. I like the song hand of that. Rina. Rina sound like Rinai in Indonesian. Rinai, R-I-N-A-I, mean rain. Oh my goodness. Jade, your favorite character. Rain Katari. Rain. Do you know how to say rain in Indonesian? Rain in Indonesian is hujan. 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 Say it very slowly with me. Hujan. Hujan. It sounds similar to Fiona's last name, Maharaj Hossein. So if you know how to pronounce Hossein, you know how to pronounce Hujan. Just change the S to J, Hujan. So if rain was in Indonesian, their first name would be Hujan. I do not know which one I like Rain Katari or Hujan Katari. Maybe we can compromise, put it in the middle name. Rain Hujan Katari. Hujan Rain Katari. Yeah, I like it. Hujan, rain, rain Katari. Rain Katari Hujan. Hujan Katari rain. I do not know. I like rain. Rain good. Rain is quiet but like quietly laughing and bold. Just because they are mute doesn't mean that they are not smart. Smart, not intelligent, come in many different forms. And not being verbal does not mean you are stupid, because ASL is, I love ASL. It's still a legitimate language with its own grammatical structure. It's different from Shan exact English. They have their own vocabulary and everything. And I'm still learning too. I'm still learning ASL, just like I'm learning Japanese. And I'm also learning a bit of Spanish and a bit of French. Maybe one day I can touch my friend in that fluency test for French, just like TOEFL or IELTS is test of foreign language in English. I think each languages have their own competency test. Where do I write? Do I pronounce it right? Competency, competent. Okay, yeah, I think it's competency test. I have to sometimes remind myself how to pronounce words because I grew up reading them. I cannot hear them. Speaking of, have I ever shown you my cochlear implant, how it works? I have it right there. 1 second. So, this is a cochlear implant processor, just like Kentai sound processor. It has magnet because when you have cochlear implant, actually under your hair they drill a skull and you get anesthetic and they cut incision, put magnet and electrode to kinda mimic the cochlear or the little snare shape thingy under your skull, and then they pat it up, and when it heals the incision like 2-3 months later, they activated the electrode via computer chip. So it actually connected to kind of like programming in a computer. The computer is here. Can you believe that this is actually a computer? Like there's a microcomputer inside of this, kinda nifty, like a lot of technology. Yeah. Anyway, there's a cable. It's connecting the headpiece, which is where the magnet is. This is the magnet, and this is the coil that goes like over the earlobe. And then this is the audio, the battery. And then I also have this little thing. See the line here? I can unlock it. This is the Bluetooth. So this is the Bluetooth and the battery. It has Bluetooth functionality. So if I want to live stream a video, I can put it there. It will connect to my hearing aid and to my brain. Because sometimes I find it hard to listen to music without my implant if I'm not familiar. The only reason I can sing and play piano is because I already trained or rehearsal before I record. It was kind of painstaking. It's not error free. Sometimes I trip up on my own piano. My hand would flip. I play by looking. I rely a lot on visual cues. Oh, just like Riff. Riff also rely on visual cues because he has stickers all over his violin, right? You mentioned it sometime in chapter what? Chapter 20-ish. That on the duet with Jacquel, that Riff has stickers all over the violin, color coded so he knows where to put his fingers. Anyway, I put it like this, and I took my glasses off, stuck in my hair, put it there, really nice, and put this over the incision where the magnet is, and then I put my glasses back. Okay, that's how I wear my cochlear implant. Anyway, I promise you a last song, right, from City's perspective. But maybe it actually better if it's from Rinjani's perspective. Okay, brainstorming. So I think I'm going to make it into Rinjani's perspective. So she's going to sing a song called Terima Kasih Guruku or Thank You My Teacher. Guru in Indian culture is like revered figure, right? And in Japanese, it would be like sensei, someone with expertise. So if you say someone is a guru, in my language, it implies that they have amassed a lot of knowledge. Hey, actually, I can hear myself better now that I wear my implant. My voice become clearer and it kinda louder. So yeah, it helped a bit, kinda. I have my hearing aid on this other ear. It's kinda different, you know. Hearing aid amplify sound and cochlear implant. They are electrical stimulus into the brain, and I have to be trained in occupational therapy and speech therapy and auditory therapy. Learn again how to hear. My brain has to adapt to it, interpret the electrical stimulant as sound, as voices, and not just electrical beep 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 beep, beep robotic sound. It kinda took me almost 7 months of therapy from the moment I switched on and activated my implant to actually making sense of what I'm hearing. So it's not a cure. It it's only a treatment, not a cure. So I really don't think that Abel is just because you have cochlear implant. Ableism is not about technology, in my opinion. It's more about your attitude, whether or not you humanize humans, regardless of their disability. Because we're all human, disabled or not. Let's just respect each other, man. Okay? And whether you use sign language, whether you use cochlear implant or hearing aid or nothing at all, whether you lip read, it's your choice ultimately. Just do whatever you are comfortable with. I wish I could tell Monty that directly, and I wish younger Kenta also understand that it's nobody's business if he has cochlear implant. And Aiden is wrong for bullying him so much just because he's deaf, Because Kanta deserves happiness. And I'm so glad that he ends up with someone who treats him well. I'm glad that Johan treats him well. And Kenta also loves Johan, and Johan loves Kenta. I like it when people who have long journey finally reach the destination. They deserve it. See? Happy ending don't come easily. Johan actually would tell you nothing worth having come easy. Yeah, I know Johan is like cliche motivation poster, but that Johan for you, the big brother type figure. You cannot hate Johan, it's impossible. Johan is very lovable, I think. I think I like Johan that way because I'm an older sister and I have two younger sisters. They are not twins, but they are 1 year apart. But they are so similar, they might as well be twins. They are my inspiration for Nardia and Nardo. In case you do not know, Nardo is younger by 3 minutes. Nardia is 3 minutes older, but it doesn't matter anyways. Only 3 minutes. Who cares? For all purposes and intent, they are the same age. Just like Rish and Uju are like only 5 seconds apart, right? And Rish is older, Uju the younger twin. They teach each other a lot. And Uju is actually taller, I think, right? And like Uju, I'm gonna be putting this over your head, Rish, that I am taller than you. And Rish is gonna like, not for long, I will catch up to you, bro. Yeah, so what's up, Uju? Your frater is going to, always teach you. Frater and frateo. Yeah, little and big brother. Love them, hate them, but you grow up with them. I don't have a brother. I don't. no older brother, no younger brother, because we are just 3 sisters, all 3 girls. It's fun, but sometimes I wish I have a brother I can rely on. It's not always easy, being the oldest. Because I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to be strong for my younger sister. I wish I have someone I can look up to like Johan. Oh my goodness, perfect older brother. I love you, Johan. So this is the song that Rinjani is going to sing for Ibu Siti. Just like my other song, I'm going to translate them. Okay? So just enjoy for now. Translation comes later. Terima kasihku ku ucapkan pada guruku yang tulus, ilmu yang berguna selalu kau timpahkan untuk bekalku nanti. Setiap hariku dibimbingnya agar tumbuhlah bakatku. Kan ku ingat selalu nasihat guruku. Terima kasihku guruku. So let's dissect this line by line. Okay? You can sing with me if you want. Hum it. I don't expect you to remember the lyrics, but at least you can hum it, right? It's very memorable. It's simple. The melody is simple. You can even like play it on ukulele. Just make up some tune to go with the vocal. So let's dissect it as promised. I will translate and interpret. Terima kasihku. Terima kasih means thanks and ku means me. So in Indonesian the pronoun is switch, so it's like object and then pronoun, or adjective or adverb and then pronoun. So instead of my thanks, it actually thanks my. That's just how the grammar is in Indonesian. It's like the opposite of English grammar, kind of. Just deal with it, man. Okay. Anyway, terima kasihku ku ucapkan. Ucap, the root word of ku ucapkan means say. So I'm saying my thanks to you. I'm grateful for you. I am saying my sincere thanks to you. Hey, it works in English too. That's good. Terima kasihku ku ucapkan. I give my thanks to you pada guruku yang tulus. As I said, guru means teacher, and tulus means genuine or sincere. So I give my thanks to my sincere teacher pada guruku yang tulus, ilmu yang berguna selalu kau limpahkan. Cow is just not the cow COW, but cow KAU. It means you formal in Indonesian, and limpah means give. LIMPAH, limpah. Limpah means to give something. So, and ilmu, ILMU, I think it is kind of like ancient Arabic. So, ilmu kau limpahkan. Let's say it slowly. Ilmu, kau, just like kau in English. Kau, limpah, give, limpahkan, to give. So, to give knowledge to someone. And ilmu yang berguna. Guna means useful. So, useful knowledge. Ilmu yang berguna selalu kau limpahkan. Ilmu yang berguna selalu kau limpahkan means that the teacher, or in this case Ibu Siti, is always giving Rinjani her knowledge sincerely without asking for anything in return, because all Ibu Siti want in return is for Rinjani to be a successful person and maybe go back to Indonesia one day with Franco for holiday or something and teach about Western North Carolina, and like Indonesian, there's a very beautiful place to learn where it's all inclusive even for people with disability. So if you ever want to go to America but you are not sure where, maybe check out UNC Asheville, things like that. And yeah, that's what it meant. Rinjani saying thank you to Ibu Siti. If you have not caught up by now, thank you in Indonesian is terima kasih. Say it with me slowly. Terima kasih. Let's dissect the phrase terima kasih. Terima means to receive. Terima, receive. Kasih means love. So when you say to someone thank you, terima kasih in Indonesia, in my culture it actually means I'm giving my love to you because you love me. So it's mutual love. Thank you for loving me and I love you for helping me out. That's what Indonesian is all about, community, love. Because we are kind of like having this collective mindset, not as much as maybe China or anything where you have to fit into a society and be no. We do respect individuality, and we do respect that even though we are individual, we can be a group. That's why the motto of Indonesian unofficial slogan is Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, or unity in diversity. Bhinneka means diverse, Tunggal means one, and Ika, I'm not sure what Ika means. I think it's another version of one. So diversity 101. Hey, that sounds like college class, isn't it? Diversity 101. So yeah, anyway, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika means united in diversity. Even though we are diverse, we are one. It's all about unity. That's what Indonesia is. So many different tribes, melting pot, so many different islands from one coast to the other coast. Just like USA, from coast to coast. But Indonesia is more like chain, right? instead of landmass, Indonesia has changed from one end of the sea to the other end of the sea. Actually, Indonesia and USA are so similar in concept. Like you have from sea to shining sea, from one purple majesty to the other purple majesty mountain. Indonesia also have a lot of ocean and a lot of mountains. So Indonesia is both agriculture society and maritime marine society. So that's kind of like we are in the middle of archipelago in the equator line, right? And we are island nation, like Japan is island nation, and Indonesia too has many islands. Dari Sabang sampai Merauke, from Sabang to Merauke. Sabang is in the northern tip of Indonesia in Sumatra. Sumatra is actually where the Sitohangs that family come from. The ancestor of Mr. Sitohang on Earth, they were Indonesian from the island called Sumatra. And in Sumatra, there was this lake called Toba. And the Sitohang ancestor came from Lake Toba of Sumatra in the northern tip of Indonesia. That also where the city Sabang is. So from Sabang to Merauke. Merauke is in the island of Papua. Okay, if you do not know, Papua is actually divided into two. I'm not sure if you can see my map. Doesn't matter though. I will just explain it verbally. So that Indonesia is Spain, and the bird head. Yeah, that amazing, right? The land of Papua Island is actually a bird head. That's why for Nardo and Nardia they have tattoo on their neck. I don't have tattoo, but just imagine I have it for this intended purpose. Actually, I have a picture of Nardo for those of you new readers who have not seen um, a fan fiction of Nardo made by another friend of mine, Cheese. I'm not sure why she called herself Cheese, but yeah, she goes by Cheese on Wattpad. Omelette Cheese. This is Nardo, okay? Kind of, yeah, that better, right? You can see him kinda, and he has curly hair, and here he has the bird on his neck. I'm going to zoom in. See, can you see the bird? Yeah, so that Nardo. I'm gonna zoom. Yeah, that Nardo. Hey, me and Nardo have the same T-shirt. Hey, Nardo, I'm cosplaying you. Are not you proud of me? I'm cosplaying Nardo. So yeah, that Nardo for you. Curly hair. Jade actually got the color right, kinda darker because he's a mix between Papua New Guinea and Sumatra Islander in Indonesia, right? So half Indonesian, half Papua New Guinean. I'm not sure if I've ever seen an actual mixed biracial Indonesian Papua New Guinean. It's rare. I mean, I do know they exist, but personally, I've never met an Indonesian Papua New Guinean. Maybe one day I will meet one Indo PNG like the Sitohang. The reason that their name is the last name of Indonesians instead of Papuan is because, well, they follow patrilineal naming, right? And the dad is Petrus Sitohang, so all the kids are Sitohangs too. I have not figured out what the mom maiden name is. Maybe I would, but it's not necessary for now. But maybe later it will come up. So we'll see about it. But just for now, there is Sitohangs. Okay. Oh, anyway, I remember in my Discord, I asked everyone, how do you think Sitohang is pronounced? And we come up with interesting pronunciation. I think I got a Puerto Rican in my Discord group saying that Chito sounds like Chito to write, to transcribe, ascribe. But that actually makes sense though, because Nardo Sitohang, Nardo really likes to write, not necessarily writing a novel or a journal, but he plays ukulele, right? And because he plays ukulele, sometimes he has to come up with his own lyric, right? So Nardo is like a lyricist, and because he got surrounded by Kenta, who really like haiku. Check out Kenta's haiku, an anthology of frenzied rumination. If you have not, it's the one with cover of Tumin. Also, Cheers made the cover for that haiku anthology book. So thank you, Cheers. Anyway, back about Nardo being a Shitohang and coincidentally Shito sound like Chito or to write. So Nardo like writing lyric, and his lyrics are poetic because of influence from Kenta's haiku. And Ren like writing too. I think Jade mentioned that Jade falls in love with Ren's way of writing back when Ren and Fanny was still um trying to get to know each other, and then they dating, and Fanny become kind of Ren's interpreter and learning sign language alongside. I think that's kind of beautiful, isn't it? That Fanny and Rain don't really care about gender that much. They're like, whatever. A girl dating a bi-gender character dating girl. No big deal. We are all kind of like, do you prefer omnisexual or pansexual? Or do bisexual actually cover everything? But bisexual is kind of like binary, right? It doesn't have to be binary, but it kinda is sometimes the implication. So maybe pansexual. Okay, that's what I would call Rain and Fanny. Sexual orientation wise, their sexuality is pansexual. They are pan. They love everyone regardless of gender. They see what is in your heart, and I think that's beautiful. Pan pride, pansexual pride. If any of you my readers who is tuning into this video pansexual, you are valid, you are heard, and I love you. Just because you are pan doesn't mean that you deserve to get panphobia, okay? Tell me if you see any panphobic comments in my book, and I will delete them and give the reader who is panphobic a warning. So far, nobody has given me hard time about Ren Katari being both a Muslim and a transgender. But if that happens, let me know. Okay. I'm protective of my characters, and I want my book to be a safe place for everyone too. That's my promise. Promise. Pinky promise. Pinky, pinky, pinky. Yeah. I promise you that my book will always be a safe place. Haters gonna hate, but love will triumph. Because Fiona Maharat Hussein once said, love is free, love is free. So just love everyone. That's for you, Fiona. For you, Jade. Jade for it, I love you. Love is free. Love is free. That's my promise. I thought that I will never ever disown anyone, down to anyone who disown your own family. Bad Petrus, boo. Anyway, I promise you piano, right? So, remember the first song? tanah airku tidak kulupakan. Tuh. Tanahku tak kulupakan. Engkau ku banggakan. Okay, so that's tanah airku, which means my motherland, tanah pusaka, my heirloom, my heritage. Okay, and the other would be called, I think Franco is emailing me. Let go, boo, I'm hungry. Yeah, that what he called me, boo. Let me just reply and I'll get back. Okay, Franco, I'm talking to my friends. Give me like 25 more minutes. That's too long, no. Like 10 more minutes with you guys and then I'll go to Franco because he's hungry. So we probably will go out to eat because we are running out of grocery. So we'll go to downtown Charlotte. Okay, I just told him to wait for 10 more minutes. Sorry, I have to go in 10 minutes. I'll tell you guys later in Discord how my date with Franco guys, okay? So 2 more songs and then I'm out with Franco. Tanah airku, Indonesia, tanah air beta. Okay. So, Indonesia tanah air beta. Beta is just another way to say aku. It's poetic, used in song. Nobody says beta in real life. Okay. So, in real life, always use aku. Or if you are being formal, use saya. So, there are three ways: saya, aku, beta. Or if you are Indonesian, who live in Jakarta dialect, aku changes to gue or gua, but only if you're Jakartan. Otherwise, stick to aku or saya. Anyway, Franco, he learned Indonesian, and you know the first three words that you always want to learn in any language is how to say I love you. So Franco told me every day, aku cinta kamu Rinjani. Aku cinta kamu Nef. Yeah, that's good. I love him too. He's an angel, just like Kenta is. Anyway, last song before I go out with him. He's so patient with me. I love him. This is Rinjani's song to Ibu Siti. The one that goes, terima kasihku ku ucapkan pada guruku yang tulus. I'll give you my keyboard version. Let me warm up a bit. Terima kasihku guruku. Hey Profesor Siti Kusudiarti, Ibu Siti, if you watch this, enough Nefertiti Karismaida said that I appreciate everything Bu Siti. Terima kasih banyak. Terima kasih for making me feeling less lonely. After my graduation from UNC, it was a while before I found another Indonesian. So it's good to connect with you. Thank you very much. Oh, and thank you for that one time when I interviewed you for an article for Indonesia Man Global. My content director and my editor loved it. They said, wow, there's a woman all the way in Edgeville that is an Indonesian and she's a professor. But the chance, but hey, fate, destiny, what you call it, we are meant to meet each other eventually. I mean, Fana Noah and Edgeville, UNCA and Warrenville, kan they're basically neighbors, right? And neighbors got to stick together. Yay, neighbors. Indo Pride, man. Indonesia Raya, Merdeka, Merdeka. That's the anthem of Indonesian. And just like you have Star Spangled Banner, Indonesians have Indonesia Raya. The great majestic Indonesia. And Merdeka, Merdeka come from Mahardika, which means freedom. So yeah, that's our cry of independent from the colonial Netherlands, we wanted to have freedom and independence. So we yelled, "Merdeka atau mati." Give me freedom or give me death. Either we become free or we die trying to be free. So it's a very sentimental song. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya. Long live the great majestic Indonesia. May nobody ever invade us ever again. Actually, the Declaration of Independence goes like this. It kinda like was it Declaration of Independence or was it the Undang-Undang Dasar 45? Oh, I think that the Indonesian Amendment, it really borrowed from the American. We hold this truth to be self-evident that all men are created equal. The Indonesian version would be like Undang-Undang Dasar tahun 1945, pembukaan, bahwa sesungguhnya kemerdekaan itu adalah hak setiap bangsa, dan oleh karena itu, penjajahan di dunia ini, di atas muka bumi ini, harus dihapuskan karena tidak sesuai dengan pri kemanusiaan dan pri keadilan. What it means in translation is the amendment of 1945, that when Indonesia was independent, I think just 2 years before India was 47 right now. So 1945 Indonesia was independent. I think Japan has like invaded the Pearl Harbor. It was the same year as Hiroshima and Nagasaki. A lot of things happened. Indonesian independence, Pearl Harbor, Nagasaki, Hiroshima. 1945 really packed a lot, man. It's like the version of our 2020 pandemic, but with war instead of pandemic. It feels good to be able to cough in your own room and nobody having like, you have COVID? Thank you for privacy. Anyways, yeah, so the amendment of Indonesia says that we hold it to be self-evident that inflation is bad and injustice unfair and inhuman. Okay, bye.